As you see here, this is TEAS question time, so let's get started. TEAS question number 1. Which of the following is the correct formula for sodium chloride? The correct answer is B, NaCl, and let's talk about why. So remember, if you look on your periodic table, I know that the ionic charge for sodium is +1. The ionic charge for chlorine is -1. Remember, the charges are going to swap. But in this particular case, because the numbers are the same, 1 and 1, they cancel each other out, and so you get NaCl. If we look at the first example here, NaCl2, that is incorrect. That subscript of 2 would represent the fact that you chose to say that chlorine was a diatomic molecule and you wanted to use a 2 there, but that would be incorrect. If you look at letter C and you put the 2 on sodium and you took it off of chlorine, that would also be incorrect because you're reflecting the 2 that got swapped as being chlorine's diatomic molecule being written in that format. That would be incorrect. And then letter D, NaCl3, neither of those elements has anything to do with the number 3. Therefore, you would not want to select that as your answer choice. Question number 2. Which of the following is the correct formula for dinitrogen tetraoxide? Is it A, N2O4, B, NO4, C, N4O2, or D, NO2? The correct answer is A, N2O4. Let's go through the reasons why the other answer choices are incorrect, and you will begin to see why letter A is the correct answer. Because we said dinitrogen, the di means 2, so therefore we know that the prefix will be 2 for di, and then the chemical symbol is N. So if we do process of elimination and writing out dinitrogen, just the first part of the name of N2, we know that letter B would not make sense because there isn't a 2 anywhere in the formula. Now, we also know that letter D doesn't reflect N2 either, so we get rid of that one. Now, tetraoxide. Tetra means 4. Therefore, we will write the number 4 for that one, and then oxide is O. So when we rewrite that, it would be O4. So if we look at our answer choices, letter A represents N2O4. However, if you look at letter C, it appears as though the numbers were swapped, and we don't swap when it comes to writing out covalent compounds in this example. Remember, covalent compounds are simply writing the numerical prefixes in the names. You call it like you see it, N2O4 dinitrogen tetraoxide. You do not swap the numbers at all. Which of the following compounds represents calcium phosphate? Is it A, Ca subscript of 3 in parentheses PO4 on the outside 2? Or is it B, Ca2 in parentheses PO4 subscript of 3 on the outside? C, CaPO4, or D, Ca3P2? The correct answer is A, Ca3 parentheses PO4 subscript 2. Let's look at the formula and how we write this out so you can understand why the other 3 answer choices are incorrect. Calcium has a +2 charge. Phosphate is PO4 in parentheses, and the charge on the phosphate ion is -3. If we look at letter C, none of those numbers are written in the formula of CaPO4. So we don't see a 2 or 3, so we get rid of letter C. If we look at letter D, Ca3P2, they took off the PO4. So we have to automatically get rid of that one as well. And then if we dial back to letter B is representing the fact that you did not swap those charges. You wrote it as Ca2PO4 with the 3 on the outside because you did not swap the charges. Remember, you swap charges with polyatomic ions. So therefore, letter A is the correct answer. So watch us swap these charges. Ca is going to get the 3. So that 3 is written as a subscript. And PO4, the polyatomic ion of that, goes in parentheses and the 2 on the outside. So this is the correct answer, letter A. Which of the following is the correct formula for aluminum oxide? Is it A, Al2O3, B, ALO, C, Al3O2, or D, AlO3? The correct answer is A, Al2O3, and here's why. Aluminum has the chemical symbol of Al, of course. The charge is positive 3. Oxygen has a charge of negative 2. Therefore, you have to swap the charges. So remember, Al will pick up the 2, and O will pick up the 3. Now you notice in letter B, there aren't any numbers in the final answer. Therefore, we have to get rid of that as the answer choice. Letter C, Al3O2 represents the fact that you did not what? Swap those charges. So we have to get rid of that one as well. And then letter D, what about the 2? Where did the 2 go for oxygen? You misplaced the 2 by throwing it out in the air. Therefore, letter D is incorrect. So that's why letter A is the correct answer. What is the formula for potassium nitrate? This is for question 5. Is it A, KN3, B, KNO2, C, KNO3, or D, KNO? The correct answer for potassium nitrate is letter C. So I think this is a great time to make sure that you all understand how do you know the differences in terms of the chemical formulas with their names. Like we got ATE versus ITE. So if you noticed here, when you see the name ATE or in some of the other examples ITE, those represent polyatomic names. That means you're going to have 3 or more elements in the chemical formula. Letter A represents only having 2 letters, and letter A would appear to be potassium nitrite, even though that's the incorrect formula, but it doesn't represent the proper format because for nitrate it's NO3. So letter A is incorrect. Letter B, KNO2. This is incorrect because for potassium nitrate it's K, okay, that's the chemical symbol for potassium. Nitrite is NO3. However, if you look at this one here, let me go back. Letter B, KNO2, that will be the formula for nitrite with the ITE. But in this case here, for nitrate, is NO3. So the formula for nitrate is NO3. And NO3 has a -1 charge. Now notice I don't put parentheses here because they're going to cancel out anyway. These numbers are, the ones are, so therefore it just becomes KNO3. Letter D, KNO, again, we're leaving off the correct symbol for nitrate, which is the 3. So that's why letter D is incorrect. The ITE, ATE endings are very important to know the differences for these polyatomic ions. And here's your last question. What is the correct formula for sulfur hexafluoride? Is it A, SF6, B, S6F, C, SF2, or D, S2F6? The correct answer is letter A, SF6. And here again, remember, the chemical symbol for sulfur is S, hexa is 6, the chemical symbol for fluoride is F, but we would rewrite that as F6 and we just bring the S down. If you wrote letter B or said letter B was your answer, that represented that you swapped the charges. And remember, when it comes to writing out these numerical prefix named formulas, you do not swap charges. So that's why we're going to have to get rid of letter B. SF2 represents the fact that, well, you know, the F2 is a diatomic molecule in this case, and it seems as though the student was thinking that because fluorine is a diatomic molecule, that they will write it out as F2, but that is incorrect as well. And letter D, S2F6, Well, there wasn't a dye in the prefix name. Therefore, we do not select letter D as our answer choice. So I hope that practicing these examples gives you further clarity other than what you've been doing all along in your class and in your studies. If you need more help in understanding these questions, make sure you let us know and we will give you further assistance in helping you succeed on this part of your TEAS exam. Good luck and keep moving, keep pushing. Don't give up. Good luck and take care.